A heatwave is hitting hard across southern Europe. Temperatures are expected to surpass 40 degrees Celsius in parts of Italy, Spain, France, Greece, Croatia and Turkey. In Rome, temperatures could reach as high as 43 degrees Celsius and a possible 47 on the island of Sardinia. In the Greek capital, Athens, maximum temperatures could reach 45 degrees on Saturday. Sweltering heat has made life harder for people. Authorities are urging residents and tourists to be cautious. Extreme temperatures are likely to continue into the weekend. Scientists say droughts, heat, wildfires and other dangerous weather events are becoming more likely and severe due to climate change in most places worldwide. But man-made global warming is not responsible for all weather disasters. DW's environment editor Tim Schauenberg has more.
Floods in India, Spain and parts of the US. Wildfires have been raging in Canada since April. More than 9 million hectares of forest have burned and more than 150,000 people have had to flee their homes. At the same time, heat waves have been scorching Europe, particularly Spain.
I have one of these umbrellas here. And if shop owners allow, you can stand in front of the entrance. There's some cold air coming out. We just drink a lot of water. We have no other choice.
It's really sad. This is climate change. And we just have to get used to it somehow.
It's a crisis that has long since become a reality across the globe. Man-made climate change is making extreme weather more likely. Yet not all extreme weather can be attributed to a heating planet. For example, according to climate models, the heavy rain in northern Italy earlier this year weren't more intense or likely due to human-induced warming. It was actually an extremely rare and fierce weather event for the region. On the other hand, extreme heat waves in northern Africa and southern Europe last April, with temperatures up to 20 degrees above normal, were different. They would have been almost impossible at this time of year without climate change. And when it comes to the severe flooding that hit Pakistan in 2022, models suggest that global warming increased rainfall intensity there by 50%. The event affected 33 million people and destroyed 1.7 million homes.
Shaukia Philip is a climate scientist at the Royal Netherlands Meteorological Institute. When can we blame extreme weather events on climate change?
Yeah, this really depends on the type of extremes. So whether it's a temperature extreme or rainfall or drought. And it also depends on the region. So for some temperature extremes, we have been able to conclude that these extreme temperatures would have been really virtually impossible without climate change. So for instance, the heat in April in the Mediterranean area, or heat in Western US or Canada in 2021. So it depends on the type of extreme.
And tell me, what indicators do you use in your work to actually prove climate change is at fault then?
So we always start with observations. So we look at whether we can see a trend in observations. However, if we do see a trend, we still don't know whether it's climate change or maybe something else. So then we start looking at models as well. We need to use these models because we know exactly what we put in there. So we run a model twice. So once we run it with the climate conditions that are the current climate conditions, and once with the current conditions of the past. Mm-hmm. And if we know the difference between these two, then we know this is due to climate change. And if we then see the same trend in the models as we see in observations, then we know that this is related to climate change.
The other thing is that extreme weather events are becoming the new normal. Do we need to categorise them in some way to really bring home the dire results of or consequences of what could happen?
Yeah, we for sure need to adapt to these new extremes. So what have been extreme in the past may be more normal now already. So temperature, for instance, of 36 degrees may have been really extreme, but now the extreme temperature is about 40 degrees and the 36 is normal. So we should really not only mitigate climate change, but also adapt to current conditions. And we should also pay attention to how vulnerable people are to these extreme weather events.
And are there more vulnerable parts of the world that are more exposed to extreme weather?
Yes, of course. So we are in the global north and we can normally adapt a bit better. But for instance, over India, so we have heat action plans and they work quite well over Europe. But in India, they may not reach all people because they may have to go out for work. Otherwise, they don't have food. So it's not just about the plants themselves, but we should also really be able to use them.
Okay. We'll have to leave it there, shall we go? Philip, climate scientist at the Royal Netherlands Meteorological Institute, thank you very much for the insights into your work.